Yeah. Right. So from 1927 to 1937. Right. So it started. This stage started with the views of LDY, with the views of Willoughby. So, say for example, according to Willoughby, so Willoughby clearly stated that it is the duty of scholars of public administration. It is the duty of scholars of public administration to bring out the principles of administration. To bring out the principles of administration. All right. So, all right, now that is the reason for bringing out the principle. The reasons for bringing out the principles of administration is to increase efficiency and economy and effectiveness in public administration, particularly in the implementation process. Right. So this was the main focus. So by giving importance to what do you call principles. The boundaries of public administration has been opened up where the public administration was merged with new science of management. That is, by giving importance to principles of universal applicability, by giving importance to efficiency and effectiveness in administrative process. Public administration was brought more closer. It was brought more closer to management. So remember, so by this time, so management is seen as a newer discipline. It is regarded as scientific discipline. So scholars called this management in American universities as a science of management. So this was the term that was used. It was called as science of management. So by highlighting the principles of by highlighting the principles of what you call principles in public administration, right? So this public administration was brought more closer to management, and in fact, it is not about bringing closer. It is not about bringing public administration closer to management. It is merging public administration, right? So merging public administration with this new science of management. So scholars called this public administration as a new science of administration. So there was no much difference made between management and public administration. So both management and public administration were equated. So there was no much difference made. So some people call it as management, some people call it as, some scholars call it as administration. So in fact, the boundary line the boundary line that separated public administration from political the boundary line that separated public administration from management, it was very thin. It was very thin, and there is no what you call a specific boundary. So there is a complete merger of public administration with management. So because of this tendency, right? So what is lost in public administration is the publicness, right? So the publicness of public administration was lost by giving importance to efficiency and effectiveness, right? So by stressing on principles, by stressing on efficiency and effectiveness and economy also. So even remember this economy. Let me use this economy. So three E's: efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. Right? By stressing on these three is publicness. Publicness of public administration was lost. Right? So the importance of public administration, the importance of publicness was lost. Right? So we always defined public administration as a moral act. Public administration as a moral act and public administrators as a moral agent. All right. So we have very popular definition. We have a very popular opinion about this public administration because it is seen as a moral act and public administrators as moral agents. Public administrators are seen as an important human faculty to bring about social change. All right. So that means There is some ethical duty and moral obligations on public administration. There is a moral obligation as well as ethical duty. Now, by giving importance to this efficiency and effectiveness, do you think that public administration still had that moral and ethical character? When we started talking about principles, when we started talking about the efficiency and effectiveness, do you think that public administration still has that ethical and moral character? Yes or no?
No, sir.
So now what is lost? By stressing on principles, by stressing on efficiency and effectiveness, what is lost in public administration? So what is lost is
Moralness and ethicalness.
what is lost is ethical and moral character. So public administration virtually lost its ethical and moral character. Though this second stage is regarded as stage of orthodoxy, it is called as stage of orthodoxy. It is called as stage of orthodoxy. And it is during this stage. It is during this stage, public administration. Public administration has reached to its zenith. Public administration has reached to its zenith. That is, the public administration has reached to its highest levels. Because why it has reached to its highest levels? In what sense? We can say that public administration has reached to its highest levels. Because the reason is the scholars in American universities, the scholars in other social sciences, they started regarding public administration as a science. If you take other subjects like sociology or political science, they are not a true science. But here, the newly emerged discipline of public administration, the newly emerged discipline of public administration, all right? The newly emerged discipline of public administration, all right, has been regarded as a science. It is seen as a science. All right. So that is, there was a respect. The respect for public administration got increased because of these principles. That is the reason why we regard this stage as the stage of zenith, or what you call the peak stages in the discipline of public administration. Right. So now you, that is, the scholars made by bringing out principles. Right. Public administration essence importance got increased. But if you take the other side of the coin is, right, it lost its publicness, it lost its ethical and moral character. So we see both these things, right? So now by the second stage, the there so it we see increased focus, increased focus, right? Focus was on principles. In stage one, it was it is the location of public administration was given importance. It is in terms of Nicholas Henry, according to Nicholas Henry, or according to Golumbevsky, right? So in stage one, locus was given importance. Locus means the location, the territorial location of public administration, whether public administration is within political science or it is outside of political science. So where was the location of public administration? So whether it is in within political science or outside of political science.
Within political science.
Sharan said it is within political science. Do you accept? Do others accept on this? Whether PABAD is within political science or it is outside of political science. Now I am asking this question repeatedly. That means what? There is a mistake. You have done a mistake, Sharan. It is not within political science. It is, we have recommended, Wilson has recommended for separation. It
Sir,
is,
Negro, F.A. Negro said that all the three branches.
so it is outside of, right? So it is seen as, right? It is seen as a distinct and separate discipline. It is seen outside of political science. It is seen outside of politics. That means the debate was on what we call location of public administration. So whether within political politics or outside politics. So this was the main theme in stage one. Now in stage two, question is not about location. We are not bothered whether it is in political science or outside of political science. We are bothered whether it is a science or not. All right. So we are concerned only about the scientific status of public administration. So the focus was on bringing out the principles. Focus was not on locus. Focus was on principles. The main theme was on the main theme. In the second stage is on focus of public administration. That is, focus was to bring principles. So make this difference between stage one and stage two. All right. So stage one, importance was given to locus, and in stage two, it is importance was given to focus. Stage one is about locus, stage two is about focus. Just I want to make this clear. All right. So by giving importance to these principles of public administration, all right. So it was made, that was brought more closer to what you call management. That is the reason why it is called as stage of orthodoxy. So there is no clear difference between what is administration and what is management. So there is no clear difference made between what is administration and what is management. All right. So we see, all right. So we see what you call a kind of what you call integration between these two. All right. So this is what happened in stage two. So if you take this what you call outcomes of this stage two, if you take the outcomes of stage two, the main importance or main what you call merits. In what way the principles has enhanced it has enhanced the discipline of public administration. So first of all, principles were brought out. That is, before this, there were no specific principles that can be used in public administration. But now, because of efforts of scientific management, because of what you call influence of scientific management, because of influence of administrative management, and because of the efforts of people like Mooney and Rayleigh, Luther Gulick, all right, we have got principles which are used and which are being advocated in administrative process. That is, these principles were used in practicing administrators. So practicing administrators were now given certain kind of principles which can be used in administrative process. This is the first advantage. So here we are not bothered, we are least bothered from where these principles have come. We are bothered about the application of these principles in the administrative process, in the real-time working. So for practicing administrators, for practitioners, now there is an aid. There is an aid in the form of principles. So there is some kind of things. Now, coming to the status of public administration. So now do you think that the status of public administration got enhanced or decreased? Do you think that the status of public administration got increased or decreased?
Increased.
What is your opinion?
Enhanced.
It has increased. All right. It has increased scientificness. It has increased scientificness of public administration. All right. When we talk about principles and scientificness, so definitely value freeness. So value free administration. So public administration is made as a value free, right? So whenever we use the word science, science is a one which is value free. Science is always characterized by value freeness. So public administration is seen as value free. That is, there is no obsession without on any end goals. There is no importance given to any end goals. All right. So we just focus on implementing these principles irrespective of the outcomes. So outcomes are not given importance. Importance is given whether these principles are applied or not. Automatically, when we apply the principles, do we get the desired results or not? When principles are applied, can we expect desired outcomes or not? So what makes us a discipline as a scientific discipline? What makes a discipline as a scientific discipline? A discipline will be called as scientific discipline only when principles are used, only when there are a discipline will be called as scientific discipline when there are universally accepted principles. First one is universally accepted principles. Universally accepted principles. And using of these principles, these principles leading to desired outcomes, leading to desired outcomes. That means when these principles are implemented, it will lead to achievement of the intended goals, the desired goals, expected goals. That is the reason why we call a discipline as a scientific discipline, because of these principles. So here, when we talk about means and ends, what is given importance in science, whether means or ends? In science, what is given importance, whether means or ends?
Means.
Sharon, you are saying something.
Means are given importance.
So it is. So Divya Prakash, you want to say something? In science, what is given importance, whether means or ends? All right, it is means which are always given importance. Means are always given importance. So, all right. So when we call public administration as a science, that means what? This public administration, the scientific public administration, will give importance only to the means. Ends are not given much importance. We simply follow means, that is, we simply follow principles, which will automatically lead to the what you call desired ends. All right. So the second stage gave importance to what you call it gave importance to efficiency and economy, and effectiveness, which has become a backbone for what? Which has become the basis for the next level developments in within public administration. That is, we have public choice approach. We have NPM, new public management. We have what we call liberalization, neoliberal theories, neoliberalism, that is postmodernism. So we have all these developments in public administration. But all these developments have roots in what? In second stage. Because all of these developments in public administration, all of these philosophies, they gave importance. They gave importance to what? Efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. They gave importance to results, result oriented, goal oriented, right? Entrepreneurial government. So it was in the second stage for the first time, importance was given to efficiency and economy and effectiveness. Right? So this is the contribution. All right. So that is new public management. There is a word of management there. So for the first time, public administration was made more closer. PubBad was brought more closer to management, right? In the second stage, by stressing on principles, by focusing on principles. All right. So this is another outcome. This is another outcome, right? This public administration, right? It was brought more practitioner oriented. It was brought more practitioner oriented. Public administration has been brought more practitioner oriented. All right. It has become more practitioner. So these are the positive outcomes. These are the merits. These are the merits of second stage. These are the positive outcomes of second stage. Now, can you highlight the negative aspects or the side effects? Can you
Lost its publicness,
public
moralness.
lost? Okay.
Became as a management.
So it has become more mechanistic than humanistic.
Humanistic.
Public administration was made more mechanistic than humanistic. Right? Okay. It has become managerial oriented rather than people oriented. Still, now we are saying that, right, a public administration is value free. Do you really accept this value free public administration? Whether should we accept or whether this value free public administration is desirable?
No, sir.
What do you say?
No, sir. It should be given value. It should be
Whether it
value
should be value
oriented.
free or value oriented?
Value oriented.
Public administration should be value oriented because ultimately, right, publicness is the essence of public administration. It cannot be mechanistic. It cannot be value free. Though efficiency, economy are important, but these efficiency and economy should not be at the cost of welfare. It should not be at the cost of what you call basic public service delivery to the society. Efficiency is important. Economy is definitely important. But they should not be given primacy over the welfare. Welfare should always dominate. Welfare first, efficiency and economy next. And obviously, this what you call ultimately, efficiency and economy should promote welfareness. Right? And coming to these principles, if we take these principles were brought by having a limited understanding of organizations. If you take these principles, though the scholars in the second stage, they claim that, in the second stage, they claim that, all right, they have universal applicability, but in real time, in the, what you call, in reality, there is a limitedness. So these principles lack universal applicability. These principles lack universal applicability. All right. So there is no universal application because because these principles were brought by having a limited understanding of the organization, right? So what do you mean by limited understanding of organizations? What do you mean by limited understanding of organizations? Can you guess the reason? So we know that these principles were contributed by what you call Taylor, contributed by Fayol. You take what you call Mooney and Rayleigh. These principles were contributed by these principles, what you call these individuals. Now, what is their approach? What was their approach, and what is the shortcoming in that? I have given an hint. So they have adopted a mechanistic approach. They have adopted a mechanistic approach. They had a man as a machine view, a closed approach, closed understanding of organizations, closed understanding of organizations. All right. So, all right. So that is what you call a physiological approach. Even if you take the what you call scientific management theory, so it was Taylor who has adopted a physiological approach to bring out the principles of scientific management, right, which were used in public administration. That is the reason why we say that. That is the reason why we say that there is a limited understanding of organizations. There is a limited understanding of organizations, right, for bringing out the principles. And these what we call limitedness, this limitedness was highlighted by Elton Mayo through his Hawthorne experiments. The limitedness in the principles of the shortcomings in these principles, the shortcomings in these principles, they were highlighted by what you call Elton Mayo through his what you call Hawthorne experiments. He is the first one to bring out the social psychological perspective of organizations. Right? So the principles of administration, right? They had shortcomings. They lacked universal applicability. They were brought on what you call a limited understanding of the organizations. So these are the what you call some of the criticisms on second stage, right? So though second stage has enhanced the status of public administration, both in academic universities, both in universities as a theory, right, as well as in practice. But so there is a fundamental what you call criticism. That is the fundamental criticism is on loss of ethical and moral character of public administration. Am I clear to you on these points? Am I clear about this? What you call the second stage?
Yes, sir.
All right. So take down a question on the second stage. The claims of scientific status to public administration. The claims of scientific status to public administration, though has reached though has reached though has reached zenith by 1930s. By 1930s, the fundamental essence of public administration was undermined. The fundamental essence of public administration was undermined. Fundamental lessons of public administration was undermined. Analyze it. So what is your conclusion for this answer, for this question? I want a conclusion for this question. What is the conclusion for this question?
Though it reached its zenith, but it lost its value.
So here, do you accept the statement or do you negate the statement? I want it in a single word. Do you accept or do you reject?
Reject.
So
It was
what is it?
undermined.
Prakash? Do you accept or do you reject? So what about you, Anasurya?
Sir.
Do you accept this statement or do you reject this statement?
Sir, reject, sir.
That means you feel that, right, the essence of public administration was not undermined.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you should write the answers. What about you, Sharan?
Correct. It was undermined.
It was undermined.
Undermined.
That means you accept the statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now one said no, one said yes. All right. So then do write the answers. It was undermined. Good.